Good evening. Yes, it's not morning. It's 11:11 instead of 4:44. And I wanted to do a video tonight instead of waiting till tomorrow morning. And this is tomorrow's video, by the way. I won't be doing one in the morning. I wanted to share tonight from my heart. And the title is Feeding My Soul with the Voice of an Angel. I'm not waiting until tomorrow morning for the next video, which is my blurb, how it starts. Tonight has been an amazing evening of listening to music, mostly Jackie Evancho. I'm totally convinced she is a human angel, and I simply want to share my feelings with you in hope of uplifting your spirit as mine is uplifted. There's been a lot of tears shed this evening. I think it's been 3 or 4 hours that I've been listening to various music, and probably 3/4 of it has been Jackie. What an amazing little girl. I don't listen to a whole lot of music in my life, and I wonder why when I'm so uplifted. I'm almost at a loss for words, but the feelings that were generated for me were ones of great hope and a tremendous feeling of possibility for the human race, that angels are willing to come down into a world that often looks dark and foreboding and shine our light. I can only recognize that she's an angel because I am one also. Oh, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that. It doesn't really matter, because you're also an angel. Maybe you just can't see it yet. Some of you can. We often tend to look at the challenges and to see the frustrations and difficulties that we have to face as being human. And yet, when we take time, as I did tonight, to listen to the voice of an angel, to listen to the voice of our own angel inside of us, our higher self, somehow the world seems worth saving. We humans are beautiful. If only we weren't so distorted by the culture in which we live. And yet, tonight I looked at another part of that same culture for something bright and something wonderful, something meaningful and uplifting. And as I said, it brought tears to my eyes, knowing that we're all going to be moving into that place of celebration if we wish to, and many of us do wish to. I know you that are listening, except for those of you that have other motives, but most of you that are listening because you can feel the Spirit moving in your own heart. And as she sang the Lord's Prayer, I was deeply moved to love all the people that are religious and haven't quite made the leap to being spiritual yet. because the Lord's Prayer reminded me of that. I look at some of the problems that arise within the Republic here in the United States, and to me, it's all a matter, or a lot of it is a matter of too much religion and not enough spirituality. Too much of Christianity is the only true path. That negative, narrow belief that you have to force everybody else to believe just what you believe, and you condemn them if they don't, and you say, well, God did that. No, God didn't do that. We did that. But I'm not here to raise contention. I know that's probably what I just did. But God is love, and that's what I was feeling so much of tonight. So much of it was a yearning for people to be able to start cooperating with each other and start seeing the God and the Christ and the divine in each of our brothers and sisters, and not making it have something to do with a belief system or a religion or some kind of dogma, because it really has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, are you willing to love as God loves, unconditionally? Are you willing to love as Jesus and the great saints through the ages have loved? Saints not just in Christianity, but in Judaism, in Islam, in Hinduism, in Buddhism, in Taoism, and any other ism you want to name. There are saints, men and women of God, angels dressed in flesh, who come to earth to speak words, to unify. How do you know when an angel is speaking? From the voice of God, from the heart of God. They speak words of unity. How do you know when someone is not speaking words from God? They're speaking in disunity. They're putting one part of humanity against another part of humanity. Trying to lift one up on a pedestal and subvert and force into submission everything else. Division. Division is always dark energy. It's never light energy. Light, when the light comes on, it shines everywhere on everyone. And you can't turn on the dark. You can only turn on the light, and the dark automatically disappears. You can't go into a light room and flip a switch and turn the dark on. Yeah, you can flip a switch and turn the light off, but you can't turn the dark on, because dark really is just the absence of light. And we really are all one. We really are all in the Beloved. We are all Christed, even those that don't know it, even those that use different terminology or call themselves by a different name or a different religion. When are we going to learn that we can't have peace on earth when we're competing with each other over who's right and who's wrong? Because that's a false paradigm. That's the paradigm of disunity, the paradigm of separation and division. When are we going to learn that the only way we're going to have peace on earth is by joining hands, despite our differences, in fact, celebrating our differences, celebrating the fact that God's love is shed abroad in our hearts regardless of which religion we are, regardless of what our belief system is, regardless of any of the things that we have used or have been used against us to separate us. When are we going to learn? When are we going to wake up? When are we going to see that we're all human angels? When are we going to hear the voice of that angel? It's our angel, our higher self, speaking within us and saying, all I want from you is to love one another as I have loved you. All I want from you is to be kind, to be forgiving, to let go of all the things that you think are so important in being right, that right is self-righteousness. It's not righteousness, because true righteousness is loving. It's not judgmental. It doesn't separate. It unifies. It draws unto itself and uplifts and builds up. It's such a simple message, and yet so many people have such a hard time getting it. I wish I could turn on the lights for everybody so that you could see, so that you could feel in your own heart what it's like to be loved just because you are, just because you exist, just because you were born, just because you are what you are. No conditions, just because, just as you are, just as I am. We are one in the Father, one in the Mother. The masculine and the feminine unite within us, making love and creating a new human being. A human being that's homo luminous instead of homo sapiens. A lighted person that recognizes that there's only one way home. And it's not through a religion or a creed or a doctrine or a dogma. It's through love. It's the way of the heart. It's the only way that has ever really existed in truth. And it has existed in every religion in truth. Because it's the core, the essence of life itself, and the core and the essence of every religion. It is the true spirituality in all faiths. When are we going to learn that when we uphold our faith against another faith, that we're not loving? We're not fulfilling the command of God to love one another. We are failing in every aspect, and we are weakening the church, the temple, the synagogue, the mosque. We are weakening that which we say we believe, but we really don't believe it when we're fighting against other people. I wish I didn't have to fight, and I don't. The courts and the judges and the attorneys and the system. Somehow I felt earlier, that there's just going to be a deliverance. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know how. I was planning different things, or thought about different plans. But as I listened to the angel singing, as I listened to her even talking about her life, I saw the innocence that's part of me, that's part of you, that's exemplified and manifested in her, and that beautiful little girl from Pennsylvania. And my heart breaks in the respect that so many people still don't seem to get it, and yet is encouraged that many do get it, and many are waking up and remembering that we've always been loved, even when we've been really bad, even when we've gotten it all wrong. God still loves us. And that's the message of Christianity. That's the message of Judaism. That's the message of Islam and Muhammad. That's the message of the Hindu saints, of the Buddha, of the sages through the ages. That's been the message all along of all the mystics in every sect and religion. It's always been the same. It's always been one of unity and not one of division. It's always been one of cooperation and not competition. Always. Always. Because that's the only thing that's sustainable. It's not sustainable to keep fighting each other. It's not sustainable to keep competing and trying to gain advantage over somebody else and gain something, anything, at someone else's expense. That's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. What goes around will come around, and it will come back and bite us again and again and again until we get it. When are we going to get it? The spirit of love is being poured out as never before. The opportunity to connect with your higher self is more available and more present with you than ever before in human history, at least for thousands and thousands of years. This is an opportunity that we have here in 2012 to get it right. And I hope and pray that many of you will feel that flame within yourself, that spark within you of love that's calling you home, as I am doing. Listen to the voice of the angels. Listen to them singing. You can hear it really well in that little girl and many others. Thank you for listening, and good night. Namaste. Namaste.